Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Hello there, everybody. Coming to you live from Dells Raceway, Wisconsin Dells, where they're nice enough to let me use their Wi-Fi when up north. Joined by my three partners, beginning with Ed Kaluka of West Bend, Wisconsin. How you doing today, man?
I'm pretty good. I'm very pleased with Denny Hamlin and what he's talking about NASCAR.
Imagine, we didn't like Hamlin before, and suddenly he's turned into the voice of the conscience of the drivers. Dan Margetta of St. Francis, USA. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, we're at Talladega, and usually you're on pins and needles when you watch Talladega races, and maybe more so today. I mean, with all the stuff going on.
No kidding. It's crazy. And, of course, Brian Schmidt of Utzberg, Wisconsin. It's not enough that we're going to Talladega, but we go with these cars that are just suddenly turning into death traps.
Yeah, it's a little scary, and I think these guys are going to be a little scared, too. Just you hear it in all their comments all week long that, a rear-end collision is something they're most concerned about, and that's very likely at a track like this. So wouldn't be surprised if you see a race today where, they kind of get in line and they do a lot of riding. But, ultimately when it gets down to the end of it, you're going to want to win because you want to advance to the next round. So you're not going to be able to get away without any wrecks, I don't think, today. You just hope everything turns out and nobody gets seriously injured.
No, yeah, and we have two stars that are sitting on the sidelines right now with concussion protocol going on. Alex Bowman, the latest, it did not look that bad. And that's just what is so scary about these cars. Bowman hit the wall last week, and the car just bounced off, and it seemed like no problem. But the concussion is, the driver is taking the most of this thing and coming away with it with concussions. Now, with Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman both out, Alex Bowman is going to be replaced this week by Noah Gragson, who has been driving, the 16 car he's been in, Dan?
Yeah, in some parts, but on the speedways he drives that 62 car. That's
the one he was supposed to be in today, right?
Right, and now Allgaier's in his place. He's actually pretty good on the speedways in that car. I mean, good at staying out of wrecks, and usually drives the thing to like a top 10, top 15 place finish. So we'll see it is in a car that, that the Hendrick car now. I think he might be a factor.
Dan, this is pretty good. Dan Margetta, being the savvy investor that he is, has a friend in Vegas who will go to the casino, I guess. What did you get Gregson at?
100-1. We each threw $10 in, so I have $20 on Noah Gragson at 100-1.
Wow. Well, he's pretty good at this track. And the 48 car is, Hendrick cars are good everywhere. Ed, you think that's a wasted couple of bucks there, do you?
No, not at all. In fact, I'm with Dan. I've got a good chance you'll win today. But as far as that accident, if you watch the in-car camera, when these drivers start to spin, the normal is to put your head down. And then when you hit the wall, your head snaps back and hits the backrest. And, that your brain is just floating around inside your head. When you make a sudden stop like that, you get a concussion. I think they're going to start training themselves that when they start going backwards to put their head back against the headrest.
Yeah, I've heard some spotters say that when they wreck too, and the radio head back, and the headrest. I didn't know what that all meant. Well, now I'm starting to see what that is that they're probably seeing that. Because if you look at the in-car and the outside car shot of Bowman's wreck, it's a totally different deal. The outside one looks not at all. The inside car, you see how rattled around it gets, and that's the problem. If that car is that rigid on the rear end, that all that energy is in the seat, that hurts.
NASCAR can play stupid all they want, but when Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman are both on the outside looking in while their cars are being raced by someone else because they have been injured because of the design of the new car, NASCAR has to be sitting up and taking note. They can't allow this to continue. There's a test coming up pretty soon, Dan, I think, isn't there, that they're going to be trying to figure this out?
Yeah, there's a crash test. I think it's somewhere in Ohio they're going to do it, and they're working on a rear bumper replacement or some in the rear of the car to make it crush more. It may not be in place till next year, though. I think you're seeing the frustration of the drivers come out, like Hamlin and Harvick and even Chase Elliott. I think these guys might have been saying this behind the scenes for a while, and they really weren't, getting the results they wanted. So now it's starting. What's happening is what they said was going to happen, and I think it's gotten to the point where it's kind of. It's out of the bag now, and NASCAR's got a problem that way.
Well, we talked about this a year ago. We discussed this, how when they were testing these cars and they put crash test dummies in these cars, the results weren't good. And nothing was ever done about it, and it kind of was just swept under the carpet, and we're just going to go on. And they went through the first, half of the season without any issues. But now, the racing is getting tighter, and there's more at stake, and guys are running harder, and you're having more wrecks. And this is the results you're getting, and these guys are flat out pissed that this is what's going on, and that nobody listened to him. Kyle Larson this week said, and who would have thought you'd ever hear this? Kyle Larson says he feels safer in a winged sprint car, running around a track than he does in a cup car. He thought that would never happen. You would never think
crazy?
That. He goes, yeah, that is, And the reporters pressed him on it, and he goes, well, yeah, I do. The hits in those cars. When those cars flip, they disintegrate, and the parts come off, and the energy is released. He goes, in a cup car, you hit the wall, the things don't come apart, and all the energy gets absorbed through the driver, and that's the problem they have right now.
Well, one of the things they're going to change is the rear back bumper. If you look at the cutaways when they show it of the back bumper, there's two V parts coming up out of the clip and going to the bumper. They're big square hunks of aluminum that are very strong in design, so they're going to eliminate the two inboard parts that go to the back of the car to see if that helps collapse it easier.
Yeah, I think part of the frustration coming out too is we can do this. We can fix this. I mean, we have the technology. We got the smart enough people to do it. We kind of proved that 20 years ago when we had that same kind of issue where guys were getting hurt and guys were getting killed, and then and we had the bad wreck at Daytona in 2001, which took Earnhardt, and then suddenly everybody was put their focus on safety, and look at what we came up with, and didn't have anything, for 20 some years. It can be done, and I think that's what some of the frustration is. That you got to want to do it, and some of the people that weren't around. Around now weren't around 20 years ago and didn't realize the seriousness of it, and I think they're trying to get their attention.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then we go to a racetrack like Texas where there's been complaints about the track itself, which I'm not real positive what that's about. And then we have tires that are provided by Goodyear, which people might think are somehow defective. Ed, that's not necessarily the case, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think that these cars, the new car, is so limited in its adjustments to dial the platform in that you can get pretty close on the skid plate with your stem information as far as camber, caster, toe, and the balance of the car. But to dial the car in for that last little bit, it's air pressure. And when you drop the air pressure with this small sidewall, it doesn't take much to hurt the sidewall, which then blows the tire out. So, you can't expect Goodyear to. And if Goodyear comes up with a tire, that won't have a problem, then you'll hear them bitching about no grip and sliding around.
All right, so I'm not an engineer, and I certainly don't try to play one on the radio, but if it's me and we continue to blow tires, it seems to me like you should just increase the pressures a little bit, or did they not know that before we had a 4-hour, 22-minute race that had 16 cautions in it?
No, they didn't. They keep hurting themselves. You got to try and protect these teams from themselves. They used to have a minimum tire pressure rule, and NASCAR officials would come around and check your air pressures, and you get big penalties if you had tires sitting on pit road that were below that pressure. But
Are they
going
to
have
to do that again?
Well, they're not doing it now.
There's a disconnect here somewhere. If you guys can't police yourselves, we'll do it for you. Come on. How many times are we going to blow tires and and why was it that it seemed to be the leader all the time last week? Well, we'll talk about that, and we'll try to even come up with some good things to talk about when we come back.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
97.3 The Game is the new radio home of your Green Bay Packers.
And there is your Daggers.
This week, it's a Sunday matchup with the Patriots in Lambeau. Kickoff at 3:25 on 97.3 The Game.
Fall has arrived, but there's still time to get your landscaping complete before the snow flies. And PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Catch the latest episodes of the Larrabee and LePay podcast, presented by UW Credit Union, with podcast sponsors Bachman Pools and Spas and Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Available now on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, speaking of which, we have a little bit of a programming note for you. Our Green Bay Packers are playing next Sunday in London, and that game gets underway at 8:30 in the morning. Of course, it can be heard live on 97.3 The Game, but we are going to do this program. Unfortunately for us, we're head-to-head with the Green Bay Packers next week. However, we can find out who our real listeners are, I guess, next week. We will be doing the program, and it is still downloadable. Of course, available. The podcast will be on iHeart or iTunes, all major platforms for you to download if you won't listen to it live because something about you want to watch the Packers in London. There is that. But that's next Sunday, so we'll worry about that next week. Nice to have you on the program. The pole sitter today is a guy that really needs to win this race, Christopher Bell, 180. Can you believe it? It's Talladega, and the qualifying speed is 180.591 miles per hour. It used to be where we really tried hard to keep it under 200 miles an hour. These cars by themselves apparently aren't all that fast, but that's what we're looking at today. Kyle Larson will start second, Denny Hamlin third. Gentlemen, we'll take our picks later in the race. Not that matters, because if there's anybody that's pretty bad at making picks to win, at least on the air on this program, it's us. Oh, my God, we're bad. But that's another story completely. Let's see. If you'd like to participate, you can call us at 414-421-79. We're going to perhaps try to get out of that suspension that they were looking at, but for the lost wheel, where was it? At Bristol, I think, for the lost wheel. But unfortunately, that 4-race suspension starts this week. Jonathan Hassler and 2 crew guys are out. So where do they go to get crew guys to replace them? Well, let's go over and take them from Harrison Burton's car, the 21 car. Miles Stanley, who I don't even know exactly what his job is. I don't think he's a crew chief. I think he's an engineer or something over there. But he's getting his opportunity. He's going to be the crew chief on the 12 car today, and a couple of crew guys from the 21 car, which makes you think they're not thinking very highly of Harrison Burton. It seems that way to me. Crazy, isn't it?
I mean, the Wood Brothers is like another Penske car, really. That's
it is.
There's things from. I think they appealed that for 1 week. I thought they thought they had a pretty good shot at winning Texas, maybe, and getting to the next round. And once that went away, they thought to just take the penalty. They weren't going to win an appeal. I mean, it was pretty obvious what happened there.
The penalties are just flying all over the place. Not just that penalty, but then we have William Byron, the nice little Christian boy who I'm pretty sure never has used a naughty word in his life, rams Denny Hamlin under caution last week because he was pissed off about Hamlin carrying him up to the wall coming off of one of the turns. So he turns him. NASCAR, to the amazement of all, says, "We didn't see it." What the hell are you talking about? You didn't see it? Why is it that I saw it and you didn't? They have replays up there. They could have done an instantaneous penalty on a 24 car. So they don't do it until the week is over. Then he gets $50,000 fine and 25 points for the driver and the car owner. Geez, it seems like, why didn't you do it during the race? Then the golden boy, Ty Gibbs, who is just a wonderful little man, isn't he? He's a young man with a big future, but he does have a short fuse, and he didn't like being pushed around on pit road, so he runs into Ty Dillon coming off of pit road. That earned him a $75,000 fine and 25 owner points, because I don't even think the kid's got that many points to take away from him. And then during the week, Dan, Eric Jones had a pretty interesting tweet.
Oh yeah, because Ty Gibbs came out and did his apology again, which is kind of getting a little old. I mean, I talked to the kid and I thought he was okay, and every time I think he's all right, he goes into something stupid like that on pit road. Well, he did his apology on Twitter, and then Eric Jones responded, "Don't ever hit me under caution again." And people were like, "What was that about?"
What?
Well, the in-car cameras, and sure enough, under yellow, he rammed Eric Jones under yellow at one point when he was mad at him for something. So they got to get it in their head. You can't do things under caution. You can't do things on pit road, especially pit road. I mean, that again, you realize what's going on there. There's people working there, and there's a potential for getting hurt when you do that is great. They just can't be tolerated. I get that. Now, the thing with Hamlin and Byron under yellow, they had to have seen that. And instead of saying we didn't see it, just come on, messed up. We didn't.
I mean, didn't NBC show like 25 replays of it?
Yeah.
And well, for them to just plead the fifth is like, well, what are you doing?
No kidding.
Do you remember?
Go ahead, Ed.
04 with Kenseth and Harvick. I think it was at Pocono, something similar. I remember. I remember we used to go to Madison all the time. I remember talking with Roy, and he was telling me that Matt was mad at Harvick was when he was past him, he cut across his nose, and he was kind of mad about that. And he's like, "Yeah, there's some issues there. They're kind of getting along." And at Pocono, he did the same thing. Harvick cut across his nose, and Kenseth kind of ran, didn't spin him out, but told me he was happy with it. Well, and the yellow came out for like a car blowing up or something like that, and under the yellow, Harvick dumped Kenseth. I mean, coming to the yellow. So the yellow was for the car blowing up, and Matt was in the grass. And I remember he went back to get his spot back because the yellow wasn't for him, and they were telling him to go to the back, and Robbie was all mad. I'm getting that spot. Well, Matt went and just dialed Harvick under yellow, said, "We're going back. We're both going to the back." This happens. Yeah. It was kind of the same situation there where, maybe Hamlin should have went up there and just dialed the 24, and they both went back and went on from that. But I remember that going on, at that point. It's kind of something similar where there was the same thing.
Yeah.
We weren't going to make a call. Well, Matt was like, okay, well, I'll make the call for you.
Boy, I can kind of I kind of remember that, but not with the detail you do, Dan. Things don't get easier for Byron this week. Good little Christian boy that he is. He's got other issues, too, which we will discuss when we come back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
97.3 The Game is the new radio home of your Green Bay Packers.
He pulled it back down in a sack. Kenny Clark put him away.
This week, it's a Sunday matchup with the Patriots in Lambeau. Kickoff at 3:25 on 97.3 The Game.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Bell will go to the apron. Now he'll cross over, go all the way to the fence. Logano throws the block. The battle's on.
Playoff round of 12 heats up.
Hornick's in the wall. Kevin Harvick will slide up and make contact with the outside wall.
At Talladega Superspeedway.
Bubba Wallace can see it now. He can virtually coast it in.
It's the Yellowwood 500.
Sunday, coverage starts at high noon of the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Yes, as you heard, the coverage starts today at noon right here on the Big 920. It will be televised today on Channel 4 in Milwaukee. NBC's got the rest of the season. The green flag is at 1:04 this afternoon. It's supposed to be sunny and in the 70s with a 0% chance of rain. Now, I'm a little suspicious. I can tell you right now, I would not want to be a meteorologist. Last week, the forecast was for a 5% chance of rain at Texas. And, of course, it was a shower and it was interrupted and blah, blah, blah. So even though meteorology is not an exact science, even though they have millions of dollars of fancy modern equipment and computers to do it, it still could rain at any time, no matter what the hell they tell you. So,
you know what, Todd, when we were back on that call, like Edward brought up during the break, that the tower apparently doesn't have the same feed that we have at home. I don't know if they get the I think they'd have the NBC broadcast up there, maybe, but every car has got a camera in it, and you can watch it on NASCAR.com. Apparently, the tower doesn't have that, which I thought that was surprising.
Interesting that we can watch it and they can't. I mean,
well, they don't choose to. They have their own television network of cameras placed where they want them for what they want to see, like pit road incidents at every time in the scoring line, and they're not watching. They should have. That's where the problem comes in with leadership here. They need one guy up there that just watches the telecast from the network instead of their own network. And that's what happened last week, is they didn't see that because they don't have a camera set up for that.
So not only did Byron spin out Denny Hamlin under caution, which I kind of enjoyed myself, but Byron's problems continue. Today, he failed pre-qualifying inspection twice, which means today he's losing his car chief, Tyler Jones, and plus they did not get pit selection, I guess, right? That's what happened. So he's going to have the last pit selection, although the 16 car and the 31 car of Hemrick and Haley both had the same problems, and they lost their pit selections too. Only cars, did someone just belch? The only cars that will go to the rear today are the two Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan cars. The 23 car had an oil leak, and I don't know what that means. Did they have to change the engine? I'm not sure. They did change the engine on Bubba's 45 car. So those two start from the rear today. And how would you like to have been watching that race yesterday and being a tire changer for Haley Deegan's truck? And here comes Haley cutting across a couple of different trucks to dive into her spot on pit road. One of the tires and send it out onto the grass. Now, this is a green flag pit stop, and the tire gets kicked way out onto the grass, almost to the racing surface. So some genius who was not named, you'll notice they never gave the guy's name away, ran out onto the grass, and he was fast, and he was pretty good about getting that tire. Unfortunately, that is against the rules, and first of all, against the rules of logic, out into a potential
common sense
traffic situation. Common sense, exactly. His race credential taken away from him on the spot and was escorted to the exit. See you later. You're done. Now, I don't know if that means for one race or if they're going to come up with a penalty down the line, but you got to be smarter than that. Yeah, I mean, I realize that it's one of those things that you got to make up your mind real fast, but it wasn't under caution. That might have made a difference if it was under caution. I think it still would have ended up the same way, actually. But no, what was that guy's name? We don't know. We'll never know, I guess. There was other problems in that truck race yesterday, by the way. Not only did that happen, but young Mr. Jordan Anderson is just driving in his race truck, and suddenly the thing burst into flames. Now, sometimes you say to yourself, well, it have been a oil line that came loose or something. Ed, I had my suspicions right from the beginning due to the severity of that fire and how quickly it came about. It might not have been an oil line. It might have been a fuel line.
Well, it looked more like fuel because Brian could attest to this, that, you know, the color you get from oil burning is black smoke and gasoline is just the flames.
Yeah, I mean, it was not the real dark-colored black stuff that you normally see with an oil fire. It definitely was something different burning. I mean, I don't know. It's strange. The fires this year, and this is on a truck, which isn't even the new car. So the explanation as to what happened there, I don't know. But what was really scary is to see him unbuckling as he's headed towards a wall. That really was scary, and thank God he wasn't more seriously injured.
And, well, he was doing that because he was getting burned. Boy, that reminded a lot of people of a wreck that Bobby Dotter was involved in at Daytona several years ago. But so here he is unbuckling while he's still moving, and he's half out of the thing when he hit the inside wall, which was also scary. I mean, we were glad to see him get out. We had no idea. He went to the hospital, was transported. He has second-degree burns. Now, if you don't know what first degree is sunburn. Second degree is bad blisters, and third degree, of course, is charring. But he did have second-degree burns, which means blisters on his neck, his face, his arms, his hands, and his knees, which means it burned right through the fire suit. It was down on the bottom there.
What was really surprising to me is I thought a lot of these vehicles, they all had like an inside fire suppression system in these cars. You know, we have them, the dirt late models have them where you pull the pin on your extinguisher and it blows in front of you. And I didn't see anything that looked like he might have, detonated that thing inside the truck to try to put the flames out. So I don't know if he panicked and didn't grab it, or if the fire was in a location where he couldn't get at it, or be interesting to find out when they investigate this, what happened there that he wasn't able to get that fire suppression system that they have in those vehicles going.
Ed, they always would take these things back to the NASCAR R&D center and get it figured out what happened and what they could have done differently, right?
Well, he was in pain. Probably that's why he didn't think about hitting that extinguisher. He just wanted out. Like Dan said, he already had the belts off before he hit the inside wall because he popped right up out of that vehicle on fire, and it looked like a gas fire because all those different parts of his body that got somehow soaked with gas. I had that problem once at Daytona. One of my crew guys, I had to make a float adjustment on the carburetor, and you pull a screw out of the side of the float bolt to check the level of the fuel, and he didn't put the screw back in. And Bay Darnell was driving at that time, and Bay came in to qualify, wanted to qualify, and the whole inside of the car was soaked with gas on the floor, on him. I said, "Are you crazy?" He says, "Well, I just didn't want to quit the lap." But that was just out of one little float bowl hole.
Yeah, imagine without it. By the way, Jordan Anderson, the driver of that number 3 truck, he married Larry McReynolds' daughter. That's his son-in-law. That's Larry's son-in-law. We'll be back.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
97.3 The Game is the new radio home of your Green Bay Packers.
Over the shoulder, Lazard's got it!
This week, it's a Sunday matchup with the Patriots in Lambeau. Kickoff at 3:25 on 97.3 The Game.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
This week on NASCAR Live, Ty Majeski joined us.
Being locked into Phoenix, there's just so many layers to it that really couldn't have been better. And this is sort of the time of year when you're looking to secure funding for next season and working on different partners. And with all that being said, it was good timing for that too. So love the position that we're in. I like where our team is at heading into Phoenix.
There's much more waiting for you each week on NASCAR Live.
Every Tuesday night at 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
It's been a busy little place at Talladega. They raced the Xfinity Series there yesterday. A.J. Allmendinger won by, 14 one-thousandths or something like that, over Sam Mayer. Sam nearly won his first race. I guess, it seemed to me, and guys, we talked about this, he may have just got a little bit too much of a lead too late in that race where it allowed other guys to get a run on him.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, when he came out of 4 there and he had that big distance, I'm like, they're going to get a run on him. But, when you think about it, and Sam said it in his post-race interview, that he believes that's the first restrictor plate race that he's actually finished, without a flaw. And if you think back, we only do 4 of these a year. Daytona, he's always had issues. And then at Talladega, he got wrecked out too. So this was the first chance he really had of trying to finish one of these races. And he said he learned a lot about what to do. He needed to maybe drag a little more brake there coming out of 4 to keep him a little closer to him. But, I mean, that start-finish line is in the normal spot. He's got a really nice win. And if it's 10 feet a little bit closer, he's got a nice win there. So he'll learn.
That falls on the
spotter.
The spotter
exactly.
problem.
Yep.
The spotter should definitely have been telling him to back off.
In the trucks, Matt DiBenedetto, as it went to a yellow right before they got to the line, was your winner. Ty Majeski ended up 23rd. He had a wreck on the last lap, Dan, kind of out of his control. He was trying to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, mind his own business, and that's what he was doing. And when they had the crash coming to the finish, I think it was the 51 truck, maybe. The truck spun, got in traffic, came back across, and then right into Ty. So, I mean, riding around the back didn't work that way. I mean, I figured he wasn't going to really mix it up because they're set for Phoenix. There's really no use in tearing things up or getting yourself hurt. So I understand that way. But he still got caught up in stuff. Johnny got caught in a wreck late, too. Johnny Sauter was running pretty good. But then he got, again, out of his own doing. Truck spun, just clipped him and took him out. He finished like 22nd or 25th or something like that. And Derek
25th, yeah. Pretty good run, yeah. He had run up to the front a couple of times, but ended up 13th in that one. So,
I just wish I wish they pop that yellow switch as soon as things happen coming to the and again it happens quickly, but they would have been a lot better off just letting them cross the line and taking a finish that way. Because when you try to do it just right before the finish, it gets messy.
It does get messy and screwed up, and answering questions you shouldn't have to answer and all that sort of thing. Hey, Brian, a very notable announcer passed away this weekend by his own hand. Rick Eshelman, the announcer for the World of Outlaw late models. What happened there?
Yeah, that's shocking. I mean, that is absolutely shocking. It's someone that me and Dan got to know pretty well over the last several years. He's the voice of the World of Outlaw late model series. You hear him all the time. Quick-witted. Really don't know what the circumstances were behind it. I know his residence was down in Daytona Beach Shores. The World of Outlaw late models were supposed to run this weekend, but they were canceled because they were going to be running in the Georgia, South Carolina area, and they had a lot of the remnants of the storm there. So that was all rained out, so he was making his way up to Lincoln, Illinois for the UMP Fall Nationals. He kind of also helps out with the UMP stuff when the World of Outlaws aren't running, and he stayed late overnight in Paducah, Kentucky on his way up there, and that's when he last talked to his fiance, and he never showed up at Lincoln on Friday for the race, and people started wondering where he was. A guy he was just inducted into the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame this year. Him and James Essex, the voice of Lucas Oil, and so they started a search for him, and one of the people that was a member of the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame said that Rick was an avid, just like Dale Jr., he liked to go look at old speedways, and see places that were closed down. So they gave him a long list of all the speedways that were between Paducah, Kentucky, and Lincoln, and it turned out he was in Mount Vernon, Illinois. They found him there, and unfortunate circumstance. Really don't know what's going on, but that just goes to show, you never know what a guy is going through. You really don't, and you got to talk to people. And just because he puts on a good display all the time doesn't mean he's got demons inside. And it's really sad that had to happen. He was only 61 years old.
Oh boy!
Yeah, every time he talked to me, he always seemed upbeat and nice guy. I mean, he.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you felt like you knew him a long time when he talked to him because he had time for everybody, and he always had like one-liners when he announced. They're kind of funny, they come up. The one that always stuck with me is he said some guy was looking more nervous than Noah when they brought the woodpeckers on the ark, and I thought that was
that's good.
Ed, you always had the perfect saying for guys that commit suicide.
Yeah, it's a permanent. Yeah, go ahead and say it, Todd.
A permanent solution
to a short-term problem.
Yeah.
There it is. So, on a much cheerier note, Matt Kenseth raced yesterday. He did? Yeah. Where? In London. He was in one of those marathons, and he finished the London Marathon in under 3 hours. That's a pretty big deal, like 2 hours and 58 minutes. I can't imagine running 13 miles is that what it is? 13 miles?
26, isn't it?
26 miles.
26 is a full marathon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. In 3 hours. Yeah. No. As Johnny Sauter would say. Sorry. That's not for me. Hey, Jimmy Johnson announced that his IndyCar experiment is over. He is done racing full time. Dan, it sounds like this is something he wants to do, like a bucket list kind of a thing.
Sounds like it. He said he's got some bucket list events he wants to do, so he still wants to race, just not full time anymore. And you'll see him at different events around we don't know the exact schedule yet, what his bucket list consists of. The All-Star race was mentioned at Wilkesboro. We'll see if that was one, but see him in different kind of cars and different things and race when he wants to race.
I think isn't he also interested in that Le Mans, the Hendrick, what do they call it, the Garage 34 or whatever thing at Le Mans?
Yeah.
Rumored to be he might be one of the drivers for that, so it wouldn't be surprised to see him show up at that event.
And I think I saw his name attached to some kind of a sprint car thing. Can you imagine Jimmy Johnson in a sprint car?
Well, Alex Bowman has that 410 sprint car that he races around, and it's got the 48 Ally on it. And I think Jimmy was testing it or practicing it a couple of weeks ago with plans on running one of Kyle Larson's high limit races, which rained out. So, wouldn't be surprised to see him do that. That'd be kind of cool.
Hey, speaking of Indy cars, it became official. Road America will host the Indy cars. It'll be on June 18th. Now, that's good news, and the news is kind of mixed right there too.
No.
Guys, the schedule. How's that schedule coming along?
Well, that's Father's Day again, and 2 years ago we had the conflict with that race and the Milwaukee Miles Father's Day event at the same time. Milwaukee Mile hasn't officially been announced yet. Remember, we had Bob Sargent on the other week. He said he thought that was going to be the date, so now that IndyCar made it official, we'll see what happens going forward there.
I'm going to Elkhart.
There you go. We'll be right back with some results.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
Fall has arrived, but there's still time to get your landscaping complete before the snow flies. And PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
97.3 The Game is the new radio home of your Green Bay Packer.
Brady looking, waiting, scrambles, right, throws, end zone, tipped up into the air. It is incomplete. Over. It is incomplete. Devondre Campbell tipped it up into the air in the right side of the end zone. And there is your dagger.
This week, it's a Sunday matchup with the Patriots in Lambeau. Coverage begins at 1, kickoff at 3:25. Packers football is presented by Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Yes, these dirt season continues to wind down. A lot of special events across the country. We'll start Wednesday in Chillicothe, Ohio at the Atomic Speedway, the Castrol Flow Late Model Night in America. $22,000 and $22 to win feature. That went to Bobby Pierce. Thursday in Middleborough, West Virginia, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series at the Tyler County Speedway, the 51st Hillbilly 100, which was usually run over Labor Day weekend, but it was rained out, so they made it up on Thursday night. $30,000 to win, and Kyle Larson, I think that might be his first late model win of the season, I think. I don't remember him winning many late model races this year, but that was a big one, so he wins one of the big races for the Lucas Oil Series on Thursday night. Friday night in Beaver Dam, they had the inaugural Duel at the Dam, which was an IMC event that was put on by the folks that own the 141 Speedway, Toby Cruz and his group. They also own Marshalltown in Iowa, feeling the Beaver Dam area out once because, that track may be available in the future. So they had their inaugural night, 2 nights of racing, $3,500 to win for the IMC mods on Friday night. That went to Benji Lacrosse. $2,000 to win for the IMC stock cars. That went to Nick Buckarama. Also, Friday night in Fountain City, Wisconsin, the Mississippi Thunder Speedway, the Great Pumpkin Race, night number 1. The USRA Modifieds went to Lucas Schott, and the USRA Limited Late Models went to Lance Hofer. Down in Sycamore, Illinois, the Lucas Oil MLRA Late Model Series, the 2nd annual Harvest Hustle, night number 1, $5,000 to win for them. That went to Chad Simpson. Kokomo, Indiana, Friday night, the AMSOIL National Sprint Car Series, Kyle Cummings was your winner. And Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, night number 1 of the National Open for the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, Lance DeWeese was your winner there. The big event, the $50,000 to win National Open, was rained out. They're going to run that on October 22nd. Night number 2 at Beaver Dam, though, another $3,500 to win for the modifieds. Benji Lacrosse made it a clean sweep. That's a good week for him, winning $7,000 in an IMC modified. Not bad. $2,000 win for the stock cars. That went to Elijah Zevenbergen. Luxembourg had their fall classic last night. In the modifieds, it was J.J. Anderson. The stock cars, Travis Van Straten. And the Grand Nationals was Dustin Weiss. Night number 2 at Fountain City for the Great Pumpkin Race. In the modifieds, Lucas Schott made it a clean sweep, winning both of them. And Lance Hofer made it a clean sweep in the USRA Limited Late Models, winning both. Way up in Ashland, Wisconsin, the ABC Raceway, the 47th Annual Red Clay Classic. $6,000 to win for the Wissota Late Models. That went to Daryl Nelson. $4,000 to win for the Wissota Modifieds. That went to Jeff Spacek. Night number 2 at Sycamore, Illinois for the Lucas Oil MLRA. $7,000 to win. Jason Fager picked up the win there last night. That's a popular victory for him. He's had a pretty good season after several rough ones for him. Lincoln, Illinois, the UMP Fall Nationals and the UMP Late Models. Eric Spangler was your winner, and the modifieds went to Mike Harrison. And finally, down in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car Series, $10,000 to win for their Fall Classic. Kyle Cummins was your winner there. And that is everything we have for this week on the dirt.
And in the world of asphalt racing, boy, we've had some the weather. It's been about the weather this year, like it has been for dirt tracks. But, I mean, it's really been crazy. Last week at Dells Raceway Park, they had the Midwest Championships. The Tundra Super Late Model feature was on Sunday. It started under absolutely perfect, beautiful, sunny weather. And we got, I don't know how many laps in, Dan. It seemed like about 25, 30 laps in. And all of a sudden it started getting cloudy.
It was 47. It was just 3 short of halfway.
Yeah, that's when the skies absolutely opened up and dumped water on this place. It was absolutely nuts. And there was a delay of how many hours, Dan? About 6 hours, something like that? 5 hours?
They had it dry and he got going again. It was all set to go and went back out on top of the grandstand, and it rained again. So we got wet again. So they had to go through another delay. So it didn't get going again until like almost 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was, well, they have lights here, that's for sure. Either way, when it all ended, Dalton Zier won the race, and Justin Mondyke won the Tundra Super Late Model Championship this year. They ran the Big 8 late models here. Jesse Bernhagen was your winner. In the 602 late models, they had twin features. Jason Stark and Tom Carlson won those two. In the INEX Legends, Jacob Teagan was your winner. Now, they're racing this weekend at Rockford. It's the 57th Annual National Short Track Championships. Friday night, they ran a sprint. Dan, you were down there, right?
I was there on Saturday night.
Okay. Sportsman ran Friday night. It was Patrick Featherston, I believe the name is. Not positive about that. Sorry about that.
Featherstone.
Featherstone? Okay. That's not what this says, but I understand. And in the American Short Trackers, it was Kyle Stark, your winner. Now, yesterday, they ran also the Short Track Championship weekend. Super Late Models had twin features. Dan, you were down there for that. It was some pretty damn good racing.
There was, and it was an invitational deal. They had 14 cars showed up, 13 took the green flag. Had one unfortunate wreck, which took out some cars in the middle of the first feature. But Jacob Nottestad won the first one over Austin Nason. Austin Nason won the second one over Jacob Nottestad. So they flip-flop positions, ended up tied in the overall points. They went back to qualifying to pick the tiebreaker, and Austin Nason qualified second, so he got the tiebreaker.
Overall, huh? Yeah, and I guess Casey Johnson was fast qualifier for the whole thing. And then he wrecked his car pretty bad, didn't he?
Yeah, he got caught up in that deal. They had a deal where the Larry Schuler car had a problem going into turn 1, put some fluid on the racetrack, and when you go into turn 1 at Rockford with fluid on the racetrack, you're never coming out of that, and a whole bunch of guys got swept up in that one.
They had qualifying races for today's Big 8 late models. Austin Nason won one of those. What's that noise? Max Kaler won one. Will Reese won one. And how about this name for you? Josh Balicki won a Big 8 qualifying race yesterday. Dan, he's in one of the Driver X cars, John Reynolds Jr., right?
John Reynolds' car, it's number 77. He looked pretty good. I mean, it wasn't a runaway type deal. I think it was Josh steering was right on his tail. So, I mean, he had to drive it, and looked good racing it and won the deal. The top 4 from each of those make the feature today, which is the big 188 lap one.
And they really should compliment Rockford Speedway on their new lighting. That is awesome.
Yeah,
very good.
That's up, and it makes a big difference. It really did. This is the first time I got to see him last night.
And it is televised again today, right, guys?
Midwesttour.tv. Midwesttour.tv.
There you go. We'll be back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
97.3 The Game is the new radio home of your Green Bay Packers.
And there is your Daggers.
This week, it's a Sunday matchup with the Patriots in Lambeau. Kickoff at 3:25. 97.3 The Game.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Bell will go to the apron. Now he'll cross over, go all the way to the fence. Logano throws the block. The battle's on.
Playoff round of 12 heats up.
The Lennox in the wall. Kevin Harvick will slide up and make contact with the outside wall.
At Talladega Superspeedway.
Bubba Wallace can see it now. He can virtually coast it in.
It's the Yellowwood 500.
Sunday, coverage starts at high noon of the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
We had a couple other results for you. We kind of skipped over. The ARCA National Tour raced at Salem. Sammy Smith won that one. The ARCA West Series raced in Roseville, California. Cole Moore won that one. Did we even mention last week, we talked all about how bad the race was at Texas, but oh yeah, Tyler Reddick won his third race of the year, first time on an oval. And apparently his crew chief was smart enough to make sure tire pressures were high enough so he didn't keep blowing up tires like everybody else did. Congratulations. Let's see. Chase Briscoe is 7 points to the good right now in 8th place. He's the last one that's to the good. Austin Cindric is 7 points under the line. And then 8 points under the line is William Byron, who starts in the back today. And then a couple of guys that need a win. Christopher Bell, who had that major issue last week with the tire. He is 25 points out. And of course, Alex Bowman isn't going to race, so he's out of it now, at least for the Drivers' Championship. His car would still be in for a shot at the
he could win
Owners' Championship.
Win the Roval. I mean,
what's that?
Bowman could come back next week and win the Roval.
That's right, and then he could get a.
He got a waiver already. They already said he's got the waiver.
Wow. Man, there's a lot of rules to keep track of. Playoff points, and after last week, after the 9 car busted, had an issue and was out of the race early, he's still in it due to the fact he's got all these playoff points.
Yeah, but he used them all up.
Yeah, a lot of mulligans used there. He's only 11 in.
His cushion kind of went down. Hey, real quick, this morning, Good Morning America was on, and they actually covered the NASCAR situation with the drivers speaking out, and they showed the Jordan Anderson crash from yesterday. And used still photos. Only the still photos weren't Jordan Anderson. They were Myatt Snyder, who drives Jordan Anderson's Xfinity car. So they almost got it right there. The wrong photos of the guys.
Oh, come on. They can't get everything right. We are the worst at picking winners. So using that for logic, I am going to take Denny Hamlin today, hoping that I am a really bad picker of winners at Talladega. Ed, who are you looking at today?
I'm looking at the 48 car. I like what his chances are today.
Really?
Well, Noah Hurl all over the start-finish line then, I would imagine.
It's taking Noah Gregson.
They asked Bowman about that, and he's like, yeah, it's okay. You can drive my car, but if you win, don't puke in my seat.
He's not, his head isn't so scrambled he can't think that up enough. All right, Dano?
Boy, I'm going to go with I don't even. I'll have to think here.
22.
I'll take Joey Logano again.
Good.
Sure.
Why not? Because we pick them wrong. All right. Brian, who's left?
I'm sticking with the non-playoff guys, and I'm going with the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's a really good plate racer, and we got to keep this. I mean, how long can we keep going with a non-playoff winner winning? I say we just keep on rolling.
It's amazing, isn't it? Of course, Tyler Reddick was eliminated. He's not in it, and he won last week. It really is amazing. We're 4 for 4 now on these. And Stenhouse, he had a pretty damn good run last week at Texas too, didn't he?
Yeah, that JTD Doherty team is really close to pulling one of these off, and this is probably one of their best shots. And I watched their that NASCAR thing that they have on USA Network on Thursday nights, and they followed them around for the spring Talladega race, and it showed how much preparation they put into the Talladega event. So I mean, they're gonna double down on that today, I think.
By the way, Christopher Bell from the poll today, with a shot at winning this thing, which is pretty much what he's going to need to do unless there are some major problems for other drivers, which also could happen because of the nature of racing at Talladega. So this is a great mix-up today. We could see all kinds of different scenarios after this one. So what do? We come out of this and we go to the road course next week at Charlotte, the Roval. Oh, my God. It's just crazy, and that is going to eliminate 4 more drivers and take us to the top 8. Amazing, isn't it?
I think this is the hardest round to get out of. I think if you survive, you're kind of like, whew, I got out of that one because it's such a crapshoot all the way around.
Do you realize that this was it broke the old track record last week of 13 cautions? We had 16 cautions last week. It was the worst race since the Indianapolis 08 race for Goodyear and NASCAR. But they did have 36 lead changes, which also broke the old track record of 33 set 12 years ago, obviously because leaders of all things were blowing tires. Clean air apparently was bad on tires. That would take all day for me to understand how that could possibly be the case. Low air pressures, I can understand. But how come it always happened to the leader of the race running in clean air?
I was at the race that set the most for overall cautions. That was the 600 some years ago. It was like 22 of them. I was at that one. That took all night.
Oh, my. Pretty crazy. Hey, there were some pretty good podcasts this week from people. You do want to hear the door bumper clear from this week. And speaking of which, Dirty Mo Media, I don't know if you guys saw this. They got a 7-figure podcast deal. And they're going to do more things over there. That Junior can't do anything wrong, can he?
I guess not.
No, but that's really good content on those shows. I mean, that is some. They don't beat around the bush on that stuff. It's really good to listen to.
Give them our name. We got some good content here too.
Yeah, we got a podcast too. Be sure to download it. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Let's hope that the car isn't an issue or the tires aren't an issue today, and they can finally finish one of these without too many big crashes. Never mind. That ain't going to happen. But we do want you to remember that real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta, our in-house engineer, website and coordinator, and king of the knobs, Matt Hangover Losi. For all of us involved with the program, we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.